Hi guys, it's Jordan from P&P Campers. So I'm just going to be doing a handover video on this Elddis Accordo 120. So it's based on the 16 plate 2016 Peugeot Boxer chassis. We haven't given it a wash yet, so don't worry about that. But yeah, so what I'll do is I'll start under the bonnet, work my way around all the way around the outside, and then I'll show you on the inside as well. So on these newer cabs, pretty much all of the sort of fluid reservoirs and things like that are all on this left hand side. So over on the very left we've got your washer fluid, power steering fluid, engine coolant and brake fluid. You've then got your engine oil filling point there, and your engine oil dipstick is the yellow topped one just down here. You have got air conditioning in this van, so this is a little bit of info about that. The paint code, which is the white colour by the way, the white paint colour throughout the van is Fiat 249. I'm not going to try and say the Italian word for it. So yeah, Fiat 249. Chassis plates just here, so you've got both of these two. Now you need to be looking at this one here if you ever needed any actual information, because this is the like sort of uprated one, if you know what I mean. When the vehicle was built at Fiat, or Peugeot, sorry, it came out of the factory with this plate just here. And then when it was converted by the Explorer Group or Elddis, it was given this one here. So you need to look at that one there, which is what you call a stage 2 chassis plate. Over on the right, we've got your air filter box just here, and just down here towards the right, we've got this little cover that you might be able to see. Now that is a cover for your positive terminal for the engine battery. So the engine battery itself sits under the floor in the cab, but if you wanted to start the van up from, jump start it basically, then you've got a positive terminal under there and a negative terminal up here. Okay, so that's for jump starting. As I say, the engine battery is under the floor in the cab. So front near side, so the passenger door, sorry, we've got your bonnet release handle just inside the door. Okay, I'm just going to clean the camera up a little bit. It's a little bit better. So yeah, bonnet release handle just inside the door. Your jack and wheel brace kit is here underneath the passenger seat as standard. And we've got your tyre pressures just here inside the door. Oh, just whilst we're here as well, you have got the full cab blinds in this one. So to use these blinds, you squeeze together and then it will just basically pull out. So you'll then be able to put it all the way out and meet over there to the right. Okay, so pull it back like that, nice and gently, push it all the way back in, so make sure it's all the way back in, and then you'll hear a little click like that, which means that it's all tucked in and locked in together, properly. So that's how you would use the cab blinds. Just be nice and gentle with those because they can be a little bit fragile. Inside here is your diesel filling point. You haven't got any AdBlue to worry about, so that's just literally diesel there, and you will need your ignition key to get that open. The habitation door, we've got the full-size awning over the door there, and you have got a proper blind here, or not blind, sorry, fly screen to come across the door. Okay, so you can have that completely open and have the fly screen across. The door itself has got a small retainer up the top just here, so as you see when I open this up, it'll meet up with it just there. I'm not actually going to lock it at the moment because I need to use it in a minute. So the two vents just here behind the habitation door are both to do with the fridge. So basically, if you ever had to check for whatever reason on the back of the fridge, which is more so for us to do really, it's more for servicing, but this is the access to the back of the fridge. Only thing to point out really is that if you wanted to double check that the fridge was definitely on and working, you can put your hand over this little area here and you'll feel warm air coming out through the vent. Okay, so that's the exhaust for the fridge. I can feel warm air coming out through that, so I can double check that. That definitely means that it's working. This is your external gas point. This is a Bullfinch gas point, and so you will have a fitting for that inside the van somewhere. But yeah, so this is essentially like your barbecue point really for underneath the awning. This locker at the back just here, I'll just unlock this. I forgot to open it. So just to point out, any of these lockers here that have this style lock on it is this key just here. Okay, so the key goes in, twist it until it stops, and you'll then be able to pull the locker down. So this is your leisure battery and hookup locker. So having really good access to the leisure battery is so helpful because it means that you can test it whenever you want. You know, really easy to replace and stuff like that. So leisure battery just here, and your electric hookup point, you can actually have the hookup plugged in and have the cable running out through this little slot so that you can actually lock the locker up whilst the hookup's still plugged in. So if you ever needed to do that, that's how you would do it. At the back of the van, we've got your heater vent for the whale water heater and heating system. So that's your vent for that. 2-bike rack with the relevant parts on the top. So you've got handle here on the right, handle here on the left for grabbing on top of the bike, and the relevant locks here for the wheels. So on the off side of the van, we've got a nice big window here. All the windows, by the way, are really nice condition. Can't fault them at all on that. The water filling point, so this is your fresh water filling point, it's just here, directly above the freshwater drain off point. So if you wanted to drain out your fresh water, twist this around and the fresh water will drain out from there. Okay. On that same sort of topic of drains, you've got a grey or wastewater drain off point over here. Okay, so when you twist this, it opens, twist it around to the right, is closed. Okay, so wastewater drain off is the grey, freshwater is the blue. So just above that is your gas locker, as you can see. And you have got space in here for 2 of these 6-kilo propane bottles, but we only give away 1 with every sale. So, you know, you can have 2 in there at once if you want to. But yeah, so to turn the bottle on, we go anti-clockwise around to the left all the way until it will stop. And you haven't got to go tight when it goes up there, just go until it stops. You haven't got to tighten it up or even nip it up, just go to there where it stops. When you want to turn it off, clockwise all the way down around to the right until it stops again. So anti-clockwise for on, clockwise for off. Make sure that you turn the gas bottle off before you start driving. The last thing you want in a crash is 30 millibars of propane pumping into the van somewhere. So just make sure that you switch it off from the locker. In the toilet cassette locker down here, so we've got the cassette, which literally is as simple as lift up the little orange tab and pull the cassette towards you. You'll then be able to take the cassette out all the way and take it to wherever you need to go to drain it out. The only thing to point out really is that you obviously drain it out from here. So take this cap off and drain it from there. When you're physically draining it out, you need to hold down the little yellow orange button here at the back. And then when you want to put the cassette back in again, once you've emptied it, 1 cap's worth of blue fluid goes back in and then push it back. And make sure that your little orange handle here is over the lip. Okay? And that's it. So, in the actual cab, so we've got 23,600 miles. So for you know, bearing in mind it's on a Peugeot Boxer, which is essentially like a delivery driver's van or whatever, that is an unbelievably low mileage. And to be fair, we don't really see huge mileage with the motorhomes, but this is particularly low, so that's really good. So on the door itself, we've got the electric adjusting windows and your electric adjusting mirrors. So you just move this around like a little, selector, and then move it around like a joystick. Okay, so your washers and wipers are on the right hand side stalk here. You've got all of your sort of steering wheel controls, all to do with the stereo. I very rarely go through any of that because it's so easy on that. Your lights and indicators are on the left hand stalk here, and you have got the cruise control stalk down here as well. Again, very self-explanatory on that. I very rarely have to explain any of that. You've got in the middle, you've got your air conditioning switch from here, and your hazard lights are from the little red switch there in the middle. And yeah, to be honest, that's about it for the cab. That's all I normally explain. The rest of it is just so self-explanatory that I don't need to explain anything else really. Both front seats do swivel round, so you can pull on this little handle here, and that will then allow you to swivel the seat around. You will have to move the seat backwards and forwards a little bit to allow it to actually swivel all the way around, which is very normal. But yeah, until you hear that little click just there, you know, like you just heard there, it's not locked back in. So you need to make sure that you hear that little click. But yeah, that's about it really. So I shall jump into the back of the van now, and then I'll show you what we've got going on in here. So just open that door up a little bit, get some air coming through. It is a seriously hot day today, so I am just gonna over there. Okay, so general layout of the van. So we've got the 2 side settees just here. All right. Obviously this area here turns into a nice big double bed as well. So you pull the center part here towards you and then pull the cushions to the middle. So it takes seconds to make this bed up. Really nice big windows all the way around. So loads of natural light. Obviously you've got the big skylight up here above your head as well. So as for layout, this is kind of like an industry standard 2-berth sort of layout. Hence why there's no seat belt in the back or anything like that. Okay, so it's 2-berth. Actually a really decent sized side kitchen. You've got the extendable piece just here for an extended piece of worktop. Yeah, fairly standard layout to be fair, but these newer Elddis vans, I must admit, are really, really well built. And I think they're really nice and light and airy. You know, big cupboard storage spaces all the way around, and actually quite a few nice little bits and pieces that you might think are extras, but actually they're standard. So you know, they put a little bit more time and effort into the vans nowadays as they compared to when they used to, I think, which is always good. So what I'll do then, yeah, I'll start with the sort of control panel here, just because that sort of, you know, makes sense to start there, I think, and then we'll show you through sort of like the appliances and things like that. So the control panel is one of the simplest control panels there is, really. So we've got on the bottom left hand side, we've got a switch that says master, which is our main on and off switch for pretty much everything. Okay, so anything 12 volt related, you have to have the master switch turned on. Next door to that, we've got awning. Okay, so the awning light, as you can see, is on, and if I turn that switch off, so that is our awning light switch, the one that says awning. We've then got lights, so that's just your main lights on and off switch as well, and water pump. So that's your 4 switches that you've got there. All the time that you've got the master switch turned on, the little scale at the top here is going to be telling you your leisure battery voltage, so we're just above 13 volts. So I would imagine that there's a solar panel on the roof of this fan. And then we've got a switch here that says water. So when you press and hold this button here, we're then going to look at the gauge again, and it's showing us that we're between 3/4 of a tank and full for the fresh water. Okay, so that is the control panel. That is all there is to it, honestly. That's it. So the next thing I'm going to need to explain is, because you've got a hot water system like most motorhomes do, I do need to explain to you the water system in the van. So what you've got is a inline pump, which by the way sits down here in this cupboard, as you can see. Okay, now basically what happens is you've got a cold water side of the system and a hot water side. Okay, so if I drew the water through on the cold side of the system like this, essentially what's happening is the pump is just sucking water straight out of the tank and sending it straight to the tap. Okay, that's it, that's all there is to it. Difference between the cold side and the hot side is that when I use the hot side of the tap, the water actually has to make its way through the boiler first before it gets to the tap. So the reason I'm telling you this is because when you go to use the boiler, you do have to make sure that it's actually full up of water and pressurized. Okay, so the only way to do that, there's literally only one way of doing it. There's no gauge or anything like that you can look at on the boiler. So the only way to do it is to turn the tap to the hot side of this, the system. So turn it to the left and draw the water through, just like I did there for the cold. So we'll do that now. So I can see straight away there's no air coming through. It's not coughing and spluttering and going all over the place. So I know straight away that that system is completely pressurized. So I turn that off, pump turns itself off, like so. And straight away, I know that the system is completely pressurized. Okay, and it's good. All right, so in seeing that, just proves to you that everything's okay and that you're up to pressure and you can go ahead and use the boiler however you want to, basically. Okay, so next to that we have got, I'll just turn that tap away a little bit. We've got the 3-burner hob up the top just here and an ignition switch underneath here on this oven. Now this is actually the ignition for all 3 burners as well as the oven and grill. Okay, so press the ignition switch here with either of these, you know, any of these things here, and they'll all light up. Okay, so the oven and grill, the only thing I need to mention about it is that with the grill, when you go to light it up, there's a good example. Okay, so if you look at what's happening, the left hand side's lit up, right hand side hasn't. Okay, I'm going to turn it off for a sec. Now that's exactly what I was about to explain to you. So with the grills, that's the same with every grill, well, most motorhome grills anyway. When you light it up, because the igniter is on the left hand side of the grill there, it will always light this left hand side up every time. Okay, as long as there's gas going to it, it will light up there. So if you light it up on the left hand side there and it doesn't light up on the right hand side, all you need to do is just give it a little blow in there. And what it will do is it will just sort of arch the gap there, bridge the gap, and it will then light up on the other side as well. Okay, so if I try it again. So, there you go, nearly went just then. There you go. Okay. So just need to give it a little blow in there and it'll just get the other side going. It's perfectly normal. But if you don't make sure that that other side lights up, you will get that little pop of gas that you just got there. So it is important that you check that. All right, so in and round to the right for the grill, in and round to the left for the oven. Okay. And that's about it. So, fridge. So this is a Dometic 3-way fridge. Okay, so what I mean by 3-way is that it has 3 different energies that can get the fridge cold. I'll just get rid of that in a minute. So essentially the options that you've got are gas, 12 volt, or mains electric. Okay, they're the 3 different options that you've got to get the fridge cold. Now that's not necessarily true. So the 12 volt option here is only really powerful enough to keep the temperature inside the fridge, and it only works, and it's the same for all motorhome fridges, it only works when your engine is running. So this 12 volt option here physically gets its power from the alternator from the engine to work. So its only purpose is to keep the temperature inside the fridge whilst you're on the move, whilst you're driving. Okay, so you do need to make sure that you pre-cool the fridge before you leave, either on the mains electric or on the gas, and then just switch over to the 12 volt there for when you're driving. Now to light it up on the gas, okay, so well, I'll explain the mains electric first. It's quite literally a case of if you're hooked up on the mains, select mains. That's it. That's all you have to do on the mains. If you want to light it up on the gas, slightly different. So you choose gas just down here. Okay, and then you look on the right, you got an igniter and a valve. So you press on the igniter like I am now and the valve at the same time, and then watch the gauge. So I've now let go of the ignition because it's lit up and the gauge is going up into the green nicely. And after a few seconds of allowing it to warm up, I let go and hopefully it will stay in the green. So as long as that little orange bar stays in the green there, it means that the fridge is lit. And if you wanted to, you can go around the outside and check it by putting your hand over that vent like I showed you. But yeah, basically that's it. So I'm going to leave that running on gas for a little bit just to, just triply check it. So next thing would be the heating and hot water system. So essentially what you've got is, let me turn this off. Got a little code on there on the hot water side of it, so we'll just double check that in a minute. So yeah, the thing is, most of the time I don't do the hab check, so some of these things are new to me as well. So let me just, can't remember what the reset is on it, but I will sort it out for you. You got the little code here. All right, so I'm able to use the heating option, but I'm not able to use the hot water. So we'll have a little look at that for you in a minute. Let me just try this for a second. Okay, so I'll have to have a little look at that in a minute. So basically they work in the exact same way. Okay, so I can show you the heating one. The water heating works in exactly the same way. So with the heating, we've got off. Let's do this from the start. Off, electric 1, 2, or 3. Okay, so that's if you're hooked up on the mains. Gas only, gas and electric, and back off again. Okay, so they are the same options, apart from the fact that on this one here where you've got electric 3, you don't have the option of electric 3 on the water heating. You've only got 1 and 2. Okay, so with that, as you can imagine, it's a very hot day today, so this won't actually do anything at all because it's too hot. But you have got the option here of selecting your temperature on the right. Okay, so basically turn it on whichever energy you want to use it on. So I've only got access to gas right now, so it has to be on gas. And then select your temperature. And that is it. With the water heating, it's even easier because you literally just choose which energy you want to use, and it will just start working. Okay, so we'll have that sorted. It's going to be a small thing. But yeah, there we go. So that's your heating and hot water. Really, really simple. It doesn't take much to use that at all. So I've shown you the water system, the fridge, freezer, oven and grill, and your 3 burners. What else have we got? So you've got a TV in here. We don't normally mess around with the TVs too much, but I think we might have put this one in for the customer. I'm not sure. Again, I didn't do the hab check on this particular van, so I'll have to find out. In the wardrobe just here, we've got the packaging for the telly, and a load of paperwork for the van inside here. We have got a bit more in the office as well, but this is all just sort of like the actual motorhome related stuff. And then, as I said earlier, we've got a solar panel on the van. So this is a duo controller as well. So that means that the solar panel is actually charging both engine and leisure batteries at the same time. Okay, so, really handy to have that. It means that neither of your batteries should go flat at all. The TV aerial stuff is up here. So this is your actual TV aerial itself. This is what you call a tilt and turn aerial. Okay, so to actually get a decent signal, you might sometimes have to loosen off the big nut at the top there and then give it a little turn around and move it about a little bit. You've also got your TV aerial booster back here, the Teleco booster, which has got its own switch under here for turning on and off. Okay. Oh God, my fault putting that there. So, bathroom is probably the last bit to sort of run through. So as for the sink just here, it's literally hot and cold tap. Nothing to tell you about that. Same for the shower, really, just hot and cold tap down there, hot and cold there. And then the only part that I normally actually explain, to be fair, is the toilet. So to use the toilet, in case you don't know about these ones, you have got a little blue button over on the right hand side. When I press that button, it pumps around the flush fluid around into the cassette. Okay, now once you've got that into there, you can then empty it out by, you'll see down here, you've got a little handle. When I push it towards me, it opens up that flap and drains everything into the cassette. Pull the flap back over, and that's it. Ready to be used again, and all good. Okay, so just double check there's nothing well, obviously got the microwave up here. Now this and any of your 3-pin sockets, all right, let me just get this out of the way. Any 3-pin sockets like this are all powered by the electric hookup. Okay, so none of these mains powered appliances will do anything at all unless the hookup is plugged in. All right, so just bear that in mind. But But other than that, I think I've covered pretty much everything. At least I've covered all of the appliances and things. I will have this sorted. Don't worry about that at all. That's going to be fine. But yeah, so if there's anything you think you want going through again or anything else that I've missed out, just give us a shout. And otherwise, we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks very much.